Good afternoon and welcome to the 2020 Okaloosa Schools Academic Tournament. It is match 6 between the Crestview High School Bulldogs and the Choctawhatchee High School Indians. It is a matchup in the losers bracket, so one of these teams will be going home today. We will be right back after a brief intermission and we'll come back with the introductions. Thank you. Stay tuned.
I chose to come to collegiate high school because you get free college and your high school diploma at the same time, and that's the best opportunity for any high school student.
I wanted to grow as an individual, and so I decided to move here to not be grouped into these different categories that you find in like traditional high schools.
I came to collegiate because I wanted to get used to college work and just being in a college environment before I actually move on to a bigger university.
The thing that makes Collegiate High different from other schools in Okaloosa County is that we're a small school. Students that attend the Collegiate High School are not just a number. We know students by name because of the small school atmosphere.
Many students think that if you go to collegiate, you can't play sports, you can't be in music, you can't be a high school student, but I still went to homecoming. I still went to the football games. I had fun with all my friends. And collegiate doesn't take that away from you. It adds on to your amazing personality.
In order to be successful at Collegiate High School, motivation, student motivation. You have to be academically motivated because you'll be academically challenged.
But when you go to a university, they'll see that you're dedicated and you're willing to take the course load that you'll be taking.
Welcome back. Let's get on with the team introductions. Crestview, could you please start?
I'm Alex Rustig.
I'm Sophia Rivera.
I'm Christina Ramos.
I'm Hunter Park.
Thank you, Crestview, and on to Choctaw.
I'm Derek Meacham.
Mason Newman.
Isabella Negron.
Jose Mireles.
All right, let's get started. On your buzzers with toss-up number 1. The topic is miscellaneous. Used in the past by Sandy Koufax and Bert Blyleven with great skill, it may move from 11 to 5 or from 2 to 8, depending how the baseball is held and then delivered. Name this pitch, sometimes called the hook, that is still the most common. And there's Alex for Crestview.
Curveball.
Curveball is correct. On to bonus number 1 for Crestview. The topic is math. Pencils and paper ready. A new softball costs $9 and a new baseball costs $7. A youth league spends $289 buying 7 more baseballs than softballs. Using 2 equations and 2 unknowns for your first bonus, how many new softballs did they buy? Sorry, no answer given. The answer is 15. Your second bonus, how many new baseballs did they buy?
24. Time.
And no answer given. The answer is 22. On to toss-up number 2. The topic is social studies. Muslims were intentionally settled to replace a majority Buddhist population in this country's Chittagong Hill Tracts. Immigrants from this country now own most of the Indian restaurants in England. Name this Asian People's Republic. And Alex for Crestview?
India.
India is incorrect, and that's an interrupt. I'll repeat the entire question for Choctaw. Muslims were intentionally settled to replace a majority Buddhist population in this country's Chittagong Hill Tracts. Immigrants from this country now own most of the Indian restaurants in England. Name this Asian People's Republic, once known as East Pakistan, whose capital is Dhaka. And that is Mason for Choctaw?
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh is correct. On to bonus number 2 for Choctaw. The topic is science. These regions are contained by event horizons. For your first bonus, name these extremely dense astronomical regions from which not even light can escape.
Black holes.
Black holes is correct. For your second bonus, this type of radiation thought to be released by a black hole may eventually cause a black hole to evaporate and is named for the late British astrophysicist who theorized its existence.
Hawking's radiation.
Defer to Derek.
Hawking's radiation.
Repeat that, please.
Hawking's radiation.
Yes, that is correct. Toss-up 3, math. Pencils and paper ready. In square root form, give the 2 values of x that satisfy the equation 2x squared minus 11x plus 4 equals 0. Time is up. Your answer is the quantity 11 plus minus the square root of 89, all divided by 4. On to toss-up number 4, science. First seen in humans in Uganda in the early 1950s, it is carried by the same mosquito species that also carries yellow fever. Recent outbreaks showed that it can cause Guillain-Barré syndrome. What flavivirus can cause microcephaly or abnormally small heads in babies? That is Sophie for Crestview.
Malaria.
Sorry, it's incorrect. Choctaw, can you take it?
Zika virus.
Zika virus is correct. Bonus 4 for Choctaw, the topic is literature. Name these Shakespeare plays. For your first bonus, film versions of this play include The Lovers of Verona and West Side Story.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet is correct. For your second bonus, this comedy with a seasonal name includes the characters Leontes, Hermione, and Perdita.
A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Sorry, that's incorrect. It's The Winter's Tale. Toss-up 5 in literature. Born from an egg, she was kidnapped by Theseus and later courted by Paris while married to Menelaus. Name this beautiful woman. And we have Isabella for Choctaw.
Helen.
Helen is correct. Helen of Troy. Bonus 5 for Choctaw, fine arts. He based one part of his music for strings, percussion, and celesta on the Fibonacci sequence of numbers. For your first bonus, name this 20th century composer of the ballet The Miraculous Mandarin and the opera Duke Bluebeard's Castle.
Time.
Sorry, no answer given. The answer is Béla Bartók. For your second bonus, Bartók worked with Zoltán Kodály to collect folk tunes from this country where they were both born.
Romania.
Sorry, Romania is incorrect. The answer is Hungary. Toss-up 6, fine arts. The museum affiliated with this attraction includes exhibit areas called the Riverfront Area, Manifest Destiny, and Jefferson's Vision. This object's design celebrates the westward expansion of the United States. Name this monument designed by architect Eero Saarinen, whose trams take visitors 360 feet to the top and allow a full view of the city of St. Louis. Sophie for Crestview.
The St. Louis Art.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Choctaw, can you take it?
Time.
And time's up. The answer is the Gateway Arch. On to toss-up 7. The topic is math. Pencil and paper ready. Calculate the acceleration at x equals 2 for the curve, y equals x to the 4th power minus 3 times x cubed plus 5x squared plus 12x minus 17. Time is up. The answer is 22 units per second. Toss-up 8, the topic is social studies. As Secretary of State, he wrote the Hülsemann letter supporting the Hungarian Revolution in 1848. In defense of his alma mater, Dartmouth, he said in a case against Woodward, "It is, sir, as I have said, a small college, and yet there are those who love it. What Massachusetts lawyer and senator, famed for his oratory, once declared, 'Liberty and union, now and forever, one and inseparable.'" Time's up. The answer is Daniel Webster. On to toss-up 9. The topic is science. These entities may interact with aromatic pi electron systems to form a namesake interaction. Moore's salt contains 2 of these, while the definition of an areneous acid is based on the formation of one of these. In salts, metals become these, while nonmetals become their negatively charged counterparts. Identify these positively charged ions contrasted with anions. And Mason for Choctaw?
Protons.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Crestview, that is Alex?
Cation.
Cation is correct. Bonus 9 for Crestview, the topic is social studies. Name these politicians from the Reconstruction era for your first bonus. Known as the Dictator of Congress, this Pennsylvania leader of the Radical Republicans was the chairman of both the Ways and Means and Appropriations Committee.
Andrew Jackson.
Sorry, Andrew Jackson is incorrect. The answer is Thaddeus Stevens. And for your second bonus, this Mississippian and first black member of the U.S. Senate later served as the first president of Alcorn State University.
Time.
Sorry, time is up. The answer is Hiram Revels. Toss-up 10, language arts. This word appears as an adjective in the title of a Thomas Mann novel set in Switzerland. Authors Orhan Pamuk and Jorge Luis Borges wrote works in a genre called blank realism. Give this term that is also an art form practiced by David Blaine, Chris Angel, and Penn and Teller. We have Alex for Crestview.
Magic.
Magic is correct. Bonus 10 for Crestview. The topic is fine arts. Answer these about George Washington in artworks. For your first bonus, this painter showed George crossing the Delaware River.
Time.
Sorry, no answer given. The answer is Emanuel Leutze. For your second bonus, Gilbert Stuart's Lansdowne portrait of George shows him with an outstretched right arm. The Stuart portrait of George that goes by this nickname is on the $1 bill.
Time.
No answer given. It's the Athenaeum. That is the end of the first half. We'll be right back with the scores. Stay tuned.
Cox started partnering with the Blue Wahoos during their inaugural season back in 2012. Most recently, we brought the new Cox Clubhouse to the stadium and the in-stadium Wi-Fi that really allows fans to connect with the experience in an even deeper way now.
When you look at the Wahoos, we always did really well in fan experience, except in one area, and that was connectivity. And so when we did this with Cox, we were pretty excited because we went from worst to first in the world of connectivity in minor league baseball.
Welcome back. We have a halftime score of Choctaw 60, Crestview 25. We have no substitutions, so we'll move right on to the second half of action. On your buzzers, players. Toss-up 11, math. Pencils and paper ready. A circle centered at the origin has a point at 1.37, 3.76. Give the new coordinates of that point after the circle is rotated 90 degrees clockwise. Time is up. The answer is 3.76, negative 1.37. On to toss-up 12. The topic is social studies. Examples of this biome in Africa include the Lampul in Senegal, the Gabon in Somalia, the Chalbi in Kenya, the Karoo in South Africa, and the Sinai in Egypt. Name this biome whose other African examples include the Namib in Namibia and the Kalahari, and we have Alex for Crestview.
Desert.
Desert is correct. On to bonus 12 for Crestview, miscellaneous. At age 5, Ariana Grande was the first fan to be hit by a puck at the NHL arena in Sunrise, Florida. For your first bonus, that arena is home to the NHL team with this nickname.
Time.
Sorry, time is up. The answer is the Florida Panthers. And for your second bonus, her recent song, Seven Rings, includes the melody from this Rodgers and Hammerstein show tune.
Sound of Music.
It's incorrect. It's My Favorite Things. On to toss-up 13, literature. This state is the setting for nonfiction books called If You Lived Here, I'd Know Your Name, Into the Wild, and Where the Sea Breaks Its Back. Isabella for Choctaw.
Alaska.
Alaska is correct. Bonus 13 for Choctaw. The topic is social studies. Name these famous people mentioned in President Trump's speech on July 4th, 2019. For your first bonus. In World War I, our flyboys rushed the skies of Europe. This general saw the promise of this technology and risked court-martial in his quest for an independent Air Force.
Pershing.
Sorry, it's incorrect. The answer is Billy Mitchell. For your second bonus, this man, America's first great naval hero, said, I wish to have no connection with any ship that does not sail fast, for I intend to go in harm's way.
John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones is correct. Toss-up 14, social studies. In 2019, 3 months after removing its dictator, Omar al-Bashir, this country created an 11-person sovereign, is Mason for Choctaw.
Sudan.
Sudan is correct. Bonus 14 for Choctaw. The topic will be math. Pencils and paper ready. N is a number such that n to the 20th power equals 300. Using roots as necessary, give the number that equals n to the, for your first bonus, 10th power.
$150.
Sorry, that's incorrect. N to the 10th power is equal to the square root of 300. And for your second bonus, the 40th power.
Time.
Defer.
I'm sorry you didn't get your answer in. It is 90,000. Toss-up 15, literature. The most famous play by this author opens with a murder committed by Georgie, who pretends to be Detective Sergeant Trotter. In a novel by this author, 9 people suspected of murder but never convicted are executed by Judge Wargrave. What British mystery author's Belgian detective Hercule Poirot solves a crime aboard a stopped train in her novel, and that is Isabella for Choctaw.
Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie is correct. Bonus 15 for Choctaw. The topic will be social studies. Answer these about information studied by lawyers when taking their ethics test to practice law. For your first bonus, this 3-word phrase is a problem created when a lawyer tries to represent a client on each side of the same case.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest is correct. For your second bonus, this term is the penalty given for serious misconduct that results in the loss of a license to practice law.
Time.
Sorry, your time is up. The answer is disbarment. Toss-up 16, miscellaneous. Before one scene of this film shows a woman beating a cat like a rug, its opening subtitles say that a moose once bit my sister. This film's opening scene, with 2 men nearing a castle while imitating horse sounds with coconuts, includes a discussion of differences. That is Isabella for Choctaw.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That is correct. Bonus 16 for Choctaw. The topic is science. Name these bones of the human body for your first bonus. The patella, a thick circular triangle bone, is more commonly called by this name.
The kneecap.
Kneecap is correct. And your second bonus, this bone comprises the lower jaw.
The jawbone.
That is incorrect. It is a mandible. Toss-up 17, social studies. Urho Kekkonen, its longest-serving prime minister, led this neutral nation during much of the Cold War. This nation's currency, the marka, was replaced by the euro in 2002. Name this nation that had a Swedish period before 1809. It is Mason for Choctaw.
Finland.
Finland is correct. Bonus 17 for Choctaw. The topic is literature. Answer these about novels by Jules Verne for your first bonus. His novel, The Fur Country, is set in this present-day nation in 1859, 8 years before it became a dominion.
Canada.
Canada is correct. And for your second bonus, at the end of the novel The Mysterious Island, this captain of the submarine Nautilus in a previous Verne work makes an appearance, dies, and is sent to the bottom of the sea in the Nautilus.
Defer to Isabella.
Isabella?
Captain Nemo.
Captain Nemo is correct. Toss-up 18, the topic is science. Sometimes called a condenser or Leyden jar in the past, the size of this device is the product of electrical charge and the change in the voltage across its plates with respect to time. Name this electrical circuit device made of two plates with a dielectric between them, whose size is measured in farads. It's Hunter for Crestview.
Oh, sorry, a conductor.
Conductor is incorrect. Choctaw, can you take it?
Time.
Time's up. The answer is capacitor. Toss-up 19, fine arts. First performed at the Mariinsky Theater in 1890, its characters include a bluebird, 4 suitors, and an array of fairy tale personalities. Name this Tchaikovsky ballet that begins with a christening and ends with the wedding of a young woman who pricks her hand on a spindle and is saved by a prince. It's Alex for Crestview.
Sleeping Beauty.
Repeat that, please.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty is correct. Bonus 19 for Crestview, literature. Answer these about the Norse god Odin, your first bonus. He lived in this home of the Norse gods.
I defer to Sophie. Valhalla.
It's incorrect. It is Asgard. And your second bonus, name his 2 black ravens.
Time.
Time's up. The 2 black ravens are Thought and Wisdom. Toss-up 20, social studies. This American anti-imperialist league was formed in response to this war. When this war was over, the U.S. had control of Puerto Rico, Guam, Cuba, and the Philippines. Mason for Choctaw?
The Spanish-American War.
Spanish-American War is correct. Bonus 20 for Choctaw. The topic is science. Name these animals that, like cows, are considered ruminants because their stomachs have 4 compartments for your first bonus. People living at the highest elevations in Asia use this long-haired animal the same way that Americans might use a cow or an ox for milk production and carrying or pulling things.
Defer to Isabella.
Isabel?
Goats.
Goats are incorrect. The answer is a yak. And your second bonus, in Europe, this flat-antlered animal is called an elk. Species in the U.S. include Alaskan, Northwestern, and Eastern.
Deer.
Sorry, deer is incorrect. The answer is moose.
End of the match.
And that's the end of the match. We'll be right back with our scores. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We have a final score, Choctawhatchee 170, Crestview 45. And this does eliminate Crestview from our tournament. So thanks for participating. We'll see you all next year. This is the end of the match. We hope you tune in next week. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors, Microsystems and General Dynamics. Thanks for watching.